Live from News 9 WAOW, this is News 9's Wake Up Wisconsin.
Good morning, happy Wednesday, and welcome to Wake Up Wisconsin.
There you go, you got all your W's in.
I did. Good morning, I'm Josh Gregory.
And I'm Nina Paholke. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Coronavirus concerns continue to grow. The new death toll and how health experts here in Wisconsin are preparing for the worst.
Plus,
they don't call Super Tuesday for nothing.
And he, along with fellow candidate Bernie Sanders, both win big. We have you covered on the results.
And devastating tornadoes kill over 24 people in Tennessee.
It was scary. It's really bad.
It's just shock.
The response from officials moving forward.
News 9 WAOW, we've got you covered.
And here on Wake Up, we definitely want to send our thoughts and prayers to those in Nashville. I can't imagine, Justin.
Yeah, when a tornado strikes a major metro area like that, a lot of damage occurs. You know? I mean, it's not like out in Kansas where it's out in the middle of the wide open.
Right.
So they're still dealing with that, and here we hopefully won't have to deal with any severe weather until May or June.
Right, now it's just snow.
Yeah, some snow. We had snow yesterday, and tomorrow, once again, we'll see a little bit of snow.
Okay.
Yeah. But today, we're in between that activity. Let's take a look here. We are looking at some snow for tomorrow coming into the area, but otherwise state temperatures this morning are pretty good. 24 in Rhinelander, 24 in Stevens Point, 28 in Wisconsin Dells, above normal for this time of year. And we are seeing the skies clear out. Some scattered clouds in the north, but around central Wisconsin is pretty clear right now, and that's a good sign that we'll see a good amount of sunshine for today, and we'll have those temperatures rising up to about as warm as yesterday, getting into the middle and upper 30s this afternoon. This evening, increasing clouds, and then the snow rolling in for tomorrow. I'll let you know how much could fall coming up in a few minutes.
People across my state, and I'm sure across the nation, are really scared.
New on Wake Up, the coronavirus death toll in the U.S. continues to rise. Right now, officials are reporting 9 people have died, all of those in Washington state. And it is important to note 4 of those who died were residents at a nursing facility in a Seattle suburb.
But the virus is spreading. Right now, the total number of confirmed cases here in the U.S. reaches at least 106. Some of these cases don't have an apparent connection to international travel, prompting experts to worry about what's called community spread. And finding ways to protect yourself from the virus may be a priority.
But using things like masks aren't necessarily effective.
This morning, News 9's Chase McNamara is in studio with details.
With concerns growing about the coronavirus, you may be tempted to wear a mask to protect yourself, but according to health professionals, that's not the intended use. Officials at Aspirus Wausau Hospital say preparations in the case of an outbreak are in place, and they are ready if necessary. They ask community members to be vigilant in preventing sickness, using proper hygiene, and staying home if you think you're sick. But using things like masks to protect yourself from contracting an illness isn't the best remedy.
There's no benefit to the mask if you're not symptomatic. They're not helping you with anything at this point in time. You're just depleting the supplies for people that really do need them.
Especially N95 respirator masks. These must be fitted by a professional to be effective. The U.S. Surgeon General tweeting over the weekend a warning that panic buying puts everyone at risk of depleting resources. Health professionals say the best way to protect yourself isn't new, but to wash your hands throughout the day for at least 20 seconds each time. In the studio, Chase McNamara, News 9, WAOW.
All right, thanks for that, Chase. And new on Wake Up, one Wisconsin company says it can kill the coronavirus with light. Surfacide in Waukesha markets a rotating tower that you can see on your screen right now. It emits a light called UVC. That's a form of ultraviolet light that is invisible to the human eye, but stronger than the UV light we get from the sun. The company says this $100,000 light is a second line of defense for places like hospitals.
This is additive to make that space or that room far safer for the next patient coming in.
Surfacide's light is already being used by hospitals around the world. As for your homes, experts say household disinfectants can easily kill the coronavirus. But the ripple effect from the virus around the world could last for months. A Japanese minister for the 2020 Olympics said the Games could be delayed until later this year, and fears about the impact on the global economy prompting the Federal Reserve to issue a dramatic emergency rate cut. Top lawmakers in D.C. hope to vote on funding to fight the virus later this week.
And back here in central Wisconsin, a rare but fatal allergic reaction takes the life of a local woman, and now her mother is pushing people to be the CEO of their own health. Ahead of a CT scan at a local hospital, Deborah TP was given a contrast dye, and that's common practice. Well, then she went into anaphylactic shock, and within 12 hours, she was dead. Her mother says an allergy test or something as simple as Benadryl could have prevented it.
She was in what should have been the safest place kind of on earth to have an anaphylactic reaction in a hospital. And yet, she still died.
Now this and accidents like it are rare, but you don't want to be the one in 84,000. So her mother is pushing for others to ask questions when receiving treatment.
That behind every pile really represents people. It's businesses that have lost, it's families that are hurting.
It was scary. And water is just pouring from the ceiling and like waterfalls into the hallways.
Entire communities leveled after powerful tornadoes tear through Tennessee neighborhoods, and the search for more potential victims continues. Now this after officials confirm at least 25 people are dead.
New on Wake Up, the National Weather Service says it was one of these twisters that was an EF3 tornado. The storm's ripping through hundreds of buildings in East Nashville and areas even further east. Today, schools will stay closed. The National Guard has been deployed to help search for more potential victims buried in all that rubble. This morning, a storm victim recounts damage at her apartment complex.
We went into our room to grab some shoes, and we don't have a door on our building. There's no windows. It's really bad.
And when we took off running, I had enough sense to grab my phone and just ran.
This resident says a friend brought her clothes and a stranger giving her a pair of socks to wear. Meanwhile, President Trump plans to head to Tennessee to see the damage firsthand on Friday. But out of the destruction, a special bond is forged between a firefighter and the little boy he helped save.
It was pretty scary though, right?
Yes, sir.
But I'm very proud of you, very brave. When I asked you to hold still, you did. And we got through those wires, got you over to Grandma, and everything's good.
Yes, sir.
The two reuniting overnight.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, the hug.
Stay tuned to Good Morning America for continued coverage in Nashville.
Now, because of the tornadoes, voters in parts of Tennessee had several more hours to cast a ballot in their presidential primary. People in 14 states, the ones you see colored in blue, and American Sonoma voted yesterday in Super Tuesday elections. Former Vice President Joe Biden carried his momentum from South Carolina into last night, and he won much of the South and more, 9 states so far. New on Wake Up, his biggest win coming in Texas. The other states include Alabama, Arkansas, Massachusetts, Minnesota, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Virginia. Meanwhile, Senator Bernie Sanders won 4 states in California, which is the biggest prize of the night, followed by Colorado, Utah, and his home state of Vermont. And former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg got on the board for the first time. He won in American Samoa, but he won't get all of the delegates there. The Congressman Tulsi Gabbard will get at least 1 delegate. And so far, Elizabeth Warren has not won, but will get partial delegates in some states.
Right now, Maine is too close to call, but Biden currently has a narrow lead there. On the other hand, President Trump closely watching all of this happen.
Whoever it is, I don't care. I really don't care. Whoever it is, we will take them on. Hey, the job we've done, we've rebuilt the military, we have the strongest economy we've ever had. All of the things we've done, I will take on anybody.
President Trump acknowledged the recent bump Joe Biden has gotten, and he repeated allegations that the Democratic establishment is trying to take the race away from Bernie Sanders. And one California university uses this unique event to encourage people to vote on Super Tuesday. It's called Cast Your Vote, Pet a Goat.
I'm in.
Yeah, and you could say lack of interest in voting here is bad at Chico State University.
Oh, I needed that.
Yeah, me too. I was looking forward to that. Well, the school let goats roam part of the campus yesterday, and once students casted their ballots, they got to pet one of these little guys who were wearing an I voted party hat.
So cute.
Happening today, some local snowmobile trails will be closed.
By the end of this week, most of them in Marathon County will be no more. According to the Parks, Forestry, and Recreation Department, zones 2, 3, and 4 will close for the season at 8 a.m. today. Zone 1 will close at 8 a.m. Friday. Now, Zone 5 will stay open, but one section of that is closed. And be careful on the ice. That's what area first responders are saying after 2 kids fall through the ice in Marathon County. Officials say it happened close to the shoreline near Bridge Street Monday afternoon. The kids were quickly rescued by a Good Samaritan who held out a tree branch to get them out of the frigid water. And now, with warming temperatures last weekend and more on the way this weekend, the ice is getting thin, and fire officials are warning people to stay off.
Time right now is 5:41. WIAA State Boys Hockey starts today. Coming up, a preview of some area teams taking the ice.
And it looks like some quiet weather for today in the area. We take a look at our Marshfield camera view. Not much going on right now. We won't have to worry about too much snow again until tomorrow. I'll have details on that in a few minutes.